Yeah, our guy Rhys Hoskins, 18 million he's making this year, and making Mark Attanasio look good, at least through the last two games. Let's hope there's more of it coming up. We get to all that and more coming up next on this edition of Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That Rhys Hoskins. I know I've taken some criticism and all that. And I know it's only two games, but man, he's looked good in the last two games. That's the Rhys Hoskins I want to see here going forward, because they're going to need him. They're going to need some power on this team, and they're going to need Hoskins to be better than 154. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. This episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off your first purchase. All right, coming up today, we'll talk about that. The Brewers take 2 or 3 from the Tigers. The Torpedo Bats are coming in. The A's are coming in. Not your father's A's. Well, our father's A's would have been like the swinging A's of the 70s, as they call them, with Reggie Jackson and all that. Well, I'm talking about the A's of last year. The A's of last year, 69 wins. We'll get to all that. The A's are coming to town. How many times you got to call them Oakland this weekend? I've done it like 6 or 7 times and had to be corrected this week. But I'm bearing the lead on my guy, Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins has risen his batting average to 255. Now, only one time in his career, and that was 2017, has he hit better than 255, and that was 259 in 2017, his rookie year, where he had 170 at-bats. So I'm not saying that Hoskins is going to bat 300 or win any batting titles, but 255 isn't bad for a guy like that. Now, what we want for Rhys Hoskins is the power numbers, the RBIs, and so on. Had 2 more hits. He had 3 hits Tuesday, 2 more hits Wednesday, including a second home run in as many days. See, I feel like I want Hoskins to succeed so badly, not only for the Milwaukee Brewers' sake, but because Mark Attanasio actually went out and spent some money. He spent some money on this guy. So I feel like, Attanasio does not get gun-shy about spending money, because there's a few guys, Matt Garza and a few others in days gone by, that he spent money on and didn't get his buck worth, okay? And I feel like Mark, because of some of the bad signings, and some guys we won't mention anymore, but, long-term contracts that haven't really fulfilled what they were signed to do, including guys who've played on this team in recent years. So that's why I want Hoskins to produce. I want him to produce so badly. The 2-year, $32 million contract in that neighborhood that he signed last offseason. And he's got a $4 million buyout for next year. So he's actually making it this year probably about $22 million, unless they buy him out of that. I don't know. Worry about that in the offseason. But right now, yeah, he's making a lot of money. And the Brewers don't exactly go out and buy guys like that. But in this case, they did. They had a hole at first base last offseason. And I was saying, God, I came on here, and I remember January or February, when it was, of last year, and was so excited. And then last year, he got off to a decent start, got hurt, ended up batting .214 with 26, 27 home runs. And we were all disappointed. Now, that whole while, even last night, Murphy, who, in case you haven't known, he's got the back of every guy on his team. And when he delivered last night, Hoskins, on Tuesday night, Murphy at his press conference afterwards said, and I was there, said that, Hoskins delivered for this team like so many times he has done. Like, Hoskins is up. Like they're going to be putting that statue in front of AmFam Field very soon when Hoskins is done. But still, Hoskins, I like this. Hopefully starting to heat up a little bit. I know it's only 2 games. And I'm one of those guys who's never all in right away. Never all in. And I always caution people. But in this case, I'm going to go a little bit all in, because I've been all in on Hoskins. I just, don't fail me. Reese. Just keep this going. And because they're going to need it. We all want it. And I know I've read especially this past weekend, I read the DMs, DFA Hoskins now, and I read it. And I know it's a knee-jerk reaction. I get it. But I'll just say, let's get a little bit more. And while we're at it, Christian Yelich hit another home run, another 2-hit game. All right. And of course, all his media flocked to him around his locker room after the game tonight. But Yelich, won't talk anymore about Yelich. He just had another 2-hit game, including a home run. Sal Frelick continues the rake, 2 more hits, including his first of the year. And he put on that 25 pounds in the offseason. And, usually when you put on some weight like that, good weight like he's put on, you could tell, you immediately think, wow, he's going to hit more home runs. That's his first one. He actually barreled one up, Sal Frelick, and hit the home run. So those were the offensive stars. And the Brewers, I hope you all played the under again, because the Brewers I feel like they've been like a really good under team this year. When they win, I feel like when they win, they're an under team. They go under. I don't know what the numbers are, but I sure feel like they win a lot of low-scoring games. But I'm bearing the lead on our guy, Jose Quintana. Now, Atanasio didn't spend a lot of money out there on Quintana. He got him at a good price, and this might turn out to be one of the best bargains out there. And that's what the Brewers do. And we're going to talk more about the free front office a little bit later on in this podcast. But Quintana goes 5 2/3, 4 hits, 4 Ks, 100 pitches, and he's 2-0. Now, a little wild in that first inning, Tigers helped him out. He was wild. He walked 3 guys in that first inning, and then the Tigers helped him out on a few things. Double play ball, little tapper back to the mound. Just, yeah, I thought that the Tigers did have him on the ropes in that first inning. And then Quintana after that was really good. But, again, only 2 starts. But we like what we see so far out of him. Again, another guy the Brewers went out and took a chance on. It's only $5 million. But still, I hope that we need to continue to have starts like this. I mean, look at the Brewers, as banged up as they are in a rotation. Lately, the starting pitching has been pretty good, right? Like it was last year. We're not giving up 9, 10, 14, 17 runs anymore. Starting pitching has been pretty good. And by the way, out of the bullpen, quietly, Uribe's been pretty good as well, hasn't he? Real good. Real good. All right, we come back. How the Brewers just outsmarted another team. That's what they do. That's how they win. Their margin of error very small. So what the Brewers do, outthink another team. They did that on Wednesday as well. We'll tell you another example and all that. The Torpedo Bats are here. We're coming back after this timeout. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Amazon Fire TV and Locked On. Did you know Fire TV is also on Xbox? Turn on any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with the Fire TV stick for 4K devices. I have one. I have one on this TV to my left that you can't see here in my studio, and every TV in the house. I love the Amazon Fire TV. The stick is great. You could use it anywhere in your house. Dive into hundreds of premium titles. EA Sports, College Football 25, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, you name it. Affordable, portable gaming, high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost. You know, when I travel, I never thought about taking the Fire Stick along with me, but I probably should do it. Sometimes I don't turn on the TV in the hotel, but when I go, I probably should at night. And because I have the MLB app, and so I'll watch it on my laptop late at night, or I probably should be taking my Fire Stick with me. So that's an idea. Endless entertainment, 4K streaming. Watch more than 1.5 million movies, TV episodes, favorite subscribe services, Netflix, Prime Video, Disney, Max, you know it. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. And they'll give you a bunch of good deals on there. The Xbox Game Pass, the Ultimate subscription, you name it. The Fire TV Stick 4K. It is great. I have it and use it right now. We're also on Fire TV, our Locked On podcasts, our videos. So the video version of Locked On. So get into it right now. The Amazon Fire TV, great partner with us here at Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. By the way, our podcast, you get it on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet because you great Brewer fans out there. Again, Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast, please hit the alert button, hit the subscribe button on there. It'll alert you every time we drop an episode, which is usually in the middle of the night. But, I know you have your phone. I hope you have your phone on silent for when this thing drops, but do it anyway. Go to YouTube. For those in the audio platforms, please go to YouTube. Trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. I just hit 4,500 on Wednesday night. Want to get to 5,000 subscribers? Please go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. It took over just a couple of hundred subscribers, and now we're pushing 5,000 on YouTube. So that's because you great Brewer fans out there. The torpedo bat is here, and Oliver Dunn was the first to get it. And what does he do the first time he gets up? He lays down the squeeze bunt, brings home the first run of the game. Now that's where the Brewers are out thinking teams, because Oliver Dunn, well, we know the kind of season he's having. Oliver Dunn is coming into the game. He's batting 171. Guy at third, less than 2 outs. Let's get this guy in. All right, let's get our early run. Oliver Dunn at the plate. And the Tigers have no idea what hit them. And the Brewers do this all the time. Bunt was laid down, run scores easily. That's Pat Murphy once again out thinking the other manager. AJ Hinch. It's high praise for AJ Hinch. Murph just outthinks the old school ball coach. The old ball coach just goes out there and outthinks teams and finds ways for his guys to win. Now, I will say this. Here's what. In the top of the second, Detroit puts Baez aboard. Top of the second in a scoreless game. They laid out a bunt to get that runner over to second. Now, if Murphy would have done that, I'd be like, what? Now, they must have had a ton of respect for Quintana if in a scoreless game, they're bunting a runner to second in the top of the second inning. I just thought that was kind of odd. And then the next two hitters made out for the Tigers. And I was like, well, thank you, Detroit, for giving us a free out there. Leadoff single against Quintana. You obviously didn't think you were going to get the score much off them. You know what? They didn't. But still, I thought they just leadoff single to start the game, to start the second inning in a scoreless game. Unless you're going against Greg Maddux and you got one of your aces up there, what are you doing? There we go. Some of these guys who are managing these teams against Murphy, I don't know what's going on. But the torpedo bat is here, and Dunn lays down the bunt, brings home the run in the second inning. So I don't have any problem with that, because Oliver Dunn's a 171 hitter. And you got a guy at third and less than 2 outs. Get that runner in. I'm good with that. Now, if there was a runner on first and Dunn was coming up with nobody out, I would have a problem with him bunting that runner to second base, because I think in that case, like the Tigers trying to do it too early, but are sacrificing that runner from third, I don't have any problem with that. The Brewers, by the noted publication online, The Athletic, have the third best front office in baseball. That is some high praise. Murphy calls it the ivory tower. The ivory tower up ahead, that one's the guys make all the decisions over there for the Brewers. That's what he calls the ivory tower. And hiring Murphy as a manager, that's a great decision by the front office. Jackson Chourio, long-term deal. Quintana, 1 year, $5 million. Where would you be without Quintana? You'd have to go back to Alvin Rodriguez again. Matt Arnold, GM of the year last year. So there's so many things that front office. It's not just Matt Arnold. It's his analytics guys too. He's got some smart guys around him. And I saw a quote. There was an article done in the Journal Sentinel, very good article done on this very thing about the Brewers having this terrific front office. And there was a quote in there from a big market guy talking about, and I think they were paraphrasing or quoting what the Athletic had said about, hey, whenever we're looking for a front office guy, Milwaukee is one of the spots we hit. Look at the Mets. Well, of course, teams always want to pick. Milwaukee's got, they got a great front office. They do. Now, imagine if Mark Attanasio was allowed to spend some money, or he is allowed if he actually did, considering how smart this front office is. I mean, if these guys in this Brewer front office weren't this good, the Brewers would be winning 63 games. But the Brewers are getting it done with a terrific farm system, great player development, smart coaching staff, great manager, general manager, the front office, you name it. They have to do all those things. They have to be great in all those areas to make up for the fact that they can't go out and keep their Corbin Burns or guys like that. They can't keep Willie Adames, and Willie is struggling with the Giants. Brewers will see him next week. But they can't do that, so they have to be great in the front office. When they go to a store, they find the specials. Oh, really? That Quintana is for sale? 1 year, $5 million? We'll take him. And it turns out to be turn out to be a great deal if he keeps us up. So, but the Brewers are perfect for shopping in the bargain rack. That's what they do. They go out and sign the bargain rack. And I feel like the times the Brewers fail is when they do spend a lot of money. Hoskins, right now it's not, you could say that deal hasn't come through, even though I talked about him at the top of the podcast. Yelich, I don't think signing him to a long-term contract, that exactly worked out how Attanasio wanted to work out. Mentioned Matt Garza. I still think Ryan Braun, with what the Brewers committed to him at the time, that didn't exactly work out for Attanasio. But when they make these smaller moves, these smaller finds, it has worked out for the Brewers. And they are ranked as the third best front office. Now, they just got to get by the first round of the playoffs. But the fact is that they're getting to the playoffs with a small market team, with a low budget, and finding the Quintanas and going out and signing Churio and having that work out to that long-term contract that they signed him to. That's all the things the Brewers got to do, and they do it terrifically. So, Brewers, one of the top front offices in baseball. But honestly, and I know we all like to get down to the Milwaukee Brewers, but let's face it, the Brewers have a great front office. And I know we're all down on Mark Attanasio because he doesn't spend, but when you take Attanasio out of the picture and you look at the things that this front office has done for the Milwaukee Brewers, they've done a great job. They've done a great job keeping this thing ahead of the big market Chicago Cubs. I mean, the Cubs in Major League Baseball, the way it is shaped should be benefiting the Cubs, should be fed, and it does, the Dodgers, the Yankees, all right, the big market teams. Thank goodness the Cubs don't act like a big market team because it should be benefiting them. We should be talking about, oh, geez, there they go again, the Cubs spending all this money, but they don't. Thank God, and hope they don't. I hope they don't, because the Brewers right now are still a better franchise than the Cubs. Now, the Cubs are in first place right now, but the season is early. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. When we come back, we'll look ahead a little bit to who the Brewers are playing this weekend. If you were at the game, a 105-year-old World War II vet threw out the first pitch. That's got a personal attachment to me, and I'll talk about that coming up next as well as we come right back after this timeout. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day, and Gametime is where you get your tickets. If you want to go to the A's series this weekend, you want to see the A's come to town for a first of three on Friday, Saturday night, or Sunday afternoon. I'll be out there on Sunday. Get your tickets on Gametime. Nothing better than watching a baseball game live. What they have 22. You see my program, my scorecard, 22,300 plus at the game on Wednesday afternoon. Not bad. But being at a baseball game, yeah, there's nothing like it. Gametime is the official ticketing partner of Locked On. And right now, you can buy great seats for tomorrow night's for Friday night's game. And again, those price drops right as the time of the game, as you get closer and closer within that hour, game time gets closer. You can get an incredible deal on MLB tickets all over the country. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase. You spend $70, you'll pay $50, and you'll get the account. You'll get the tickets on the account. Again, create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed with the folks at Gametime. Also, PrizePicks. Maybe you like Rhys Hoskins these days. They go over his hit total. Christian Yelich, how about Contreras? PrizePicks is the way to go. With PrizePicks, you can pick more or less on two-player projections, and you're all in. You can even combine players across sports. You can say some basketball players, some baseball players. Your chance to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Maybe you like Jason Tatum in the playoffs, over 8 rebounds in that same night. Maybe you like Jackson Churio for over a half a hit on the over-under on that. It's really easy. Download the app today. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. $50 instantly. But you got to download the app today, the PrizePicks app. Again, $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. And down the stretch we come here on Locked On Brewers. Yeah, before the game, throwing out the first pitch, and Freely came over and shook his hand, was the 105-year-old World War II vet. And Freely talked about how much that meant to him, went over and shook his hand, and then he hit a home run. And then he came back to the dugout and said, you know what? You know how I hit this home run? I went over and shook that man's hand. The greatest generation. The 105-year-old World War II veteran who threw out the first pitch. He's the second oldest living World War II veteran out there. My dad was a World War II veteran. He was in the Battle of the Bulge. I had an older dad when I was growing up, a much older dad, had me at an older age. So I can kind of relate to this. This guy came in, threw out the first pitch, joked about how he was working on his delivery, but he was a Pearl Harbor survivor. Wow. World War II veteran, 105 years old this man was, and that was so cool. I hope MLB Network is showing this guy tonight, because that is something, and it's called The Greatest Generation. That was so fun to see him throw out the first pitch. In the press box, we were looking and this is amazed, just amazed. 105 years old, still alive, and obviously did great things for our country. All right. The NL Central, the Brewers back within a game of the Cubs. Cubs got beat by San Diego 4-2. They took the early lead, had the bases loaded, nobody out. Only got one run. The Cubs ended up losing 4-2 in San Diego. The Red Hot Padres. So the Brewers with the win. They're now 10-9. They're a game out. St. Louis a game and a half out. St. Louis won again. They beat Houston. Cincinnati got beat. They're a game and a half out. And Pittsburgh, nobody cares. Well, Pittsburgh, they're 4 games out. So the Brewers within a game of the Cubs. Cubs are coming back. Just a weird start of the season for the Cubs, having to go to all these Japan, Arizona, Sacramento, Los Angeles again after playing them in Japan. They've had a home series as well, spring training in Arizona. And the Brewers heading back out west shortly. They just were out in Colorado and Arizona. Who's making the schedule out? My goodness, why are they going out west again? Could we have knocked off some of these teams when we were out there just a couple of, like last week? Brewers are headed out to San Francisco beginning on Monday, but first they have the A's coming here. And the A's won 69 games last year. We're going to get more into the A's tomorrow on that edition of Locked On Brewers. But the A's have won 69 games last year. They're off to an 8-10 start. They're not an easy out. They are not an easy out. They got some guys in that team that can play. They got a kid on that team who's got 8 homers already on the season. We'll get to all that coming up tomorrow when we preview the Brewers and A's right here on Locked On Brewers. I will tell you, Freddie is pitching on Friday night. Chad Patrick looking for his 4th straight. Terrific start. He'll pitch on Saturday night. And then Sunday, the Brewers have not announced. Maybe it's Logan Henderson. We'll see. We'll see. So that's the pitching matchups for the Brewers, or who they have going on. And we'll talk again more tomorrow on our next edition of Locked On Brewers. Brewers over the 500 mark. Now they had that 3-game slide. They're back to winning baseball, and they knocked off Detroit. And I know when you're a home team and you have a day off like they do on Thursday, and you have another home game on Friday, baseball players love that. They had an afternoon game on Wednesday, so they spend Wednesday with their family and friends. They have all day Thursday, and then they report back to the ballpark on Friday afternoon. So much needed day off for the Brewers, and they'll be able to spend it at home. No travel because they'll be back home on Friday. Going to do it for me. Thanks for making us your first listen to every day here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, you get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your podcast. We're the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet. There's you great Brewer fans out there. And, of course, please go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. This is Chuck Freeman. We will talk to you all tomorrow, everybody.